Brian of Brian's Budget Bonsai, and today we are going to be starting bringing things inside because we are expecting to have some temperatures, not overnight tonight, but between Monday night and Tuesday night, they're going to be dropping down into the 20s. It's hard to believe because at the moment it is in the like upper 70s, kind of on the humid side. Bright sun. I'm in shorts and a t-shirt and still sweating just doing anything. But yeah, we're going to get into all the ficuses and all the other tropicals and succulents and stuff like that. Put them in there. I'm hoping I'm having room for everything. Some of the stuff is just going straight in. Some of it's going to get cut back. And if any of this is something that I would like to show you, I'll put it on camera for you. But yeah, it's going to be out of the frying pan and into the freezer, I guess. So, well, let's get to it. We're going to start off with just an update. I wanted to show you the status of this. This is the Schefflera houseplant that my wife wanted me to get rid of, but I decided to make it to a little bit of a forest. This was a combination of transplants and cuttings, and they're all doing very well, I have to say. In there I've got my little ogre, and well, actually it's a troll, I guess it would be, because he's got a billy goat here that is given, the billy goat and the troll are, billy goat's giving the troll what for. There we go. So that's what we got going on in there. But I will just kind of bring things in and out as we go, pausing and restarting as we see things that are interesting or that I need some trimming back. Okay, here is the Norfolk Island pine that I pruned up earlier this year. It's had some budding, back budding over here, some back budding over here, and some back budding way up here, but it really did not put out a lot of growth. There's a little bit of budding at the ends of some of the prunes, not all of them. So this did not respond as vigorously as I had hoped, but we'll see if maybe it's just sulking, and then next year it might be better. Okay, wasn't planning on doing any repotting, but I had this little seedling of a lemon tree that was, as I was putting in there, I realized the pot it's in, this little leftover nursery plant pot, is falling apart. It's basically seen its lifespan already, so I'm going to throw that away. And I'm just going to put this hopefully more of a slip pot. I'm not going to do a lot of aggressive root pruning at this point, but I'm just going to get this out of this real quick. Well, it's got a weed in there, so we don't want that. We don't want no sense transplanting a weed. And I was just going to put this in a small little bonsai pot here. Just tease them out just a little bit and not get my hand in the way too much. Okay, and again, that's not too bad. I'm just going to literally just pop it into this plant here, this little pot here, and then just take the soil that I already took off, throw it in there real quick. Again, I think that'll just hold up a little bit better now. Yeah, that'll last for the winter, and I might do something a little bit more extensive in the spring, but right now it gets it out of a pot that's basically garbage now, crumbling. All right. Next are two of the avocados that I grew from seed. This one has probably the former leader died, and just going to cut that off. and do that little trim. And I think what I'll do is just take this back maybe to like maybe 3 or 4 leaf nodes and see if it responds. This is a former cut on this one here, and only 1 branch came out of that, but again, I still don't want that length there. And again, I'll cut this back here, and it'll take up less space on the bench, and make it a little easier for watering, because I don't have all these big canopies. Things are going to have to be right up against each other, really, very little space. Next, we have 2 lemons. First one here, I had put some wire on, and again, this is why I am a little trying to minimize the amount of wire, is because I do stupid things like leave the wire on too long. It's got a big bite on in there. It's not so bad further on, but it's going to take a long time for that deep wire mark to grow out. So, going to take the wire off of this and assess the damage and probably prune. Oh yeah, that's got a lot of wire marks. And this one at the bottom is really deep. Oh yeah, I don't know how much that's going to affect. Well, that's one thing about these lemons, is they are not a big investment in them, besides a little time and a little soil. This one's going straight up. We're going to get rid of that, I think. I really don't want one that's going straight up. And this is our current leader here. Well, it does have a lot of movement in there, but now it also has a lot of scars. So hopefully this will heal over, and we'll see some improvement over the years on this one. But yeah, double-edged sword, this wire. Yeah, it can get some interesting movement, but if you don't take the wire off on time, you could leave some permanent scars on there, or at least scars that take a long time. No wire on it, but I think I'm just going to cut back its foliage density. Oh, got a little stink bug in there. Get out of here. So yeah, let's just trim back to an outward facing leaf if I can. Let's see. That's kind of going towards the inside there. Clean that out a bit. Get rid of that branch. These always do smell so nice when you are cutting them, because they smell like lemons. And let's see. These have already been pruned. Cut that back. Bring this back up there. Okay. Okay, so I think that thins it out a little bit. See the trunk a little bit better. All right, now we have another avocado growing fairly straight as a stick. I'm just going to see if I can get some more branching on here. maybe right here. And that's all for that. 2 cuts, and we're moving on. Okay, here's another lemon. Again, just going to be pruned back to fit on the bench a little easier, as well as hopefully setting up next year's ramification. This one's doing pretty good. I got it. This one doesn't look bad. Let's see. We're going to go back to those 2 leaves there. These are my first 2 leaves here, so that's my only choice. Yeah, outward facing branches if you can, but sometimes you got what you got. Can cut off some of these big leaves. They're just taking up a lot of space on the tree. I think I'm going to cut off this whole branch. Actually, it's upward facing. I want to keep things fairly. And that's kind of crossing. This is the trunk line. This is kind of crossing the trunk line right here. I'm going to take this branch off. Okay. I might just bring this one back to see if I can get some back budding on that branch. It seems to be, it was getting kind of long with no leaves on it and no branching. Just it was like going from from 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. So rather than no branching off into 2s. So hopefully by cutting that back, I'll get some back budding on there somewhere. Okay. Trim. There we go. All right. I think, yeah, that's a branching there, so we'll leave that alone. All right, so I think that's what we're going to do with this one here. All right, next. Okay, more lemons. Same process. Cutting back. Okay, this one's got its haircut and onto the bench, but now we'll get this one here. This one had a little bit of dieback from, I think, a little underwatering. Again, one of those things when I take I turn off the water because it's raining, and then forget to turn it back on when it stops raining. So there were a couple of these, we had a little wilting. Okay, all right, let's go next. We have 2 more lemons. starting to get a little worried. Benches are filling up pretty fast. I haven't even gotten to the ficuses yet. I think every one of us knows the dilemma of wanting the trees, and things like lemons and ficuses and succulents are nice, easy plants to work with, but unless you live in the tropics, they are going to give you some, you got to find a place to keep them over winter, and space is always at a premium. That's another one done. Switch it out. This one here. So a little more basic on this one here. So this one ought to go real quick. All right, so that one's winter haircut is now done. 2 more lemons. Same idea. Yeah, that one's kind of growing straight up. Maybe I'll try to redirect it. I'll try to redirect it. I can get that to go to the side. This one though, straight up and towards the center. I'm gonna get rid of that. Oh, where are we going? I'm gonna cut back this one to a couple buds and just see if I can get something to grow there. When you have this many and you've come to the realization that you have too many, you get this kind of like freedom where you're like, okay, well, if this is not good for this one, then I've learned something, and it was not a big time or money investment. So you literally can just grow things from the seed that you took out of your iced tea at a restaurant. There's a little iced tea with lemon, and I plop it on the ground, get a tree. Okay. Well, that's, I think we'll do with that one. All right, that one was easy. It's a little bit like playing Tetris with these pots, is you're trying to find the little spaces where they can all fit. Like bonsai Tetris, where can we get all these pots to fit into little spaces that are still available on the bench? And so we don't waste space, because we don't have space to waste. Okay, we've had the last of the lemons, and it's finally the ficus. I know I wasn't going to make big decisions, but I just made a few. Still don't know whether or not I'm going to keep the length on this branch. I think it does help with the fact that we've got the tree leaning this way and got some movement this way, but we also have movement that way. That's a decision for another day. Okay, you guys might remember this is the mother of all ficuses. And it's doing really well. But it is fairly dense, and we need to kind of make sure I can get the watering can down in there. So let's start doing some cutting. All right, so the root over rock, or actually the root over geode, that was the root over geode, and this is the mother of all ficuses, are now ready for the bench. Okay, just another little, I guess another little random ficus. it's moving on. Okay, here we go, another ficus. Let's see if we can cut it back. These are all kind of real close together. I think I might want, I'm going to actually keep this one here. Going to keep this one here. I'm going to get rid of this because this is getting thicker and these are all really, really close together. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to cut that one off. There we go. Might need to clean that up a bit. There we go. So let's thin that out a lot. I think that's better. Still a little crowded at the top, but again, I'm not going to do a complete restyling on this. I just wanted to get it tamed back a bit. Okay, next. This is the ficus forest that I created. That's a little bit better view of its front. I created that early this summer from the seedlings that were busting their pot out. So they seem to be all doing well. All of them survived. Again, just a haircut. I think that's all we're doing on this one. It's a relatively young planting. I just want to make sure it everything had its own little space. But also, I didn't want to cut it back too hard because these are young trees. Okay, now we're getting into some ones that were kind of buried a little deeper in the pile, in the benches. So these ones have been probably neglected a bit. And you got so many of them, sometimes you can't pay attention to all of them. That's how you get things like, you know, dead plants that you find, or leaf scarred up. Wire scarred. Sometimes you'll get, oh, there's an infestation. But these ones, it looks healthy, but it's just, these things I haven't really, I don't think I've looked at them since they put on the bench in early summer. I think they got their summer pruning. That opens that one up a little bit. I think simplifies its structure. Okay, just a happy little ficus. All right, now this one over here, again, put it on the bench, forget about it. I think you may recall me trying to do a root over rock with this and putting some sphagnum moss and wrapping a little bubble wrap around it. I have not seen this in a couple months and honestly forgot about it. So we're just going to take a little peek. We may just wrap it right back up again, but we're just going to take a little peek to see what's going on in here. Oh yeah, I think I remember this one. This is the one it's on a rock, but I think I was just trying to see if I can encourage, I had some very thick roots, and I think I was trying to encourage some small roots on there. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm going to wrap it back up again in its plastic to keep that sphagnum moss moist, and I'll just give it a haircut.
Everything looked like it was going okay. There's still, sphagnum moss didn't look like it dried out, so hopefully that's encouraging root growth, but I'm going to give it more time. And not push my luck this time of year. That might be a thing for spring, we're unveiling in springtime. But I got a really long branch that came out of here. So we're going to cut that way back. Got some nice, kind of look almost like cascading branches. Just fine. Be kind of a little compact little one right here. Clean out some of the branches that are in the center here so you can actually see a trunk. There we go. Gotta take that one off. Take that one off. It's going from the underside. Just like, this is that really long branch that gone down, but I don't know if it's where I want it to be. It's like growing right on the base of this other one. I think I want to keep this one, get rid of that one that just kind of went wild. Clean that up. Okay. Again, I get that one, that's on the underside.
Okay, that's all we're going to do with this one. Okay. Give you a quick little tour of that. There are so many ficuses. This video is turning out to be a lot longer than I thought. It's this fight between the ficuses and the lemons. I didn't even bother showing you the succulents because I pretty much just, you know, all the Portucara afras, things like that. They just got put directly on a bench. They did not even get any trimming or anything like that. Okay, that's all I'm doing on this one. He says as he still has his scissors hovering above them. All right, take that off. Okay. Hopefully we'll get some back budding in some of these areas here. Little stub. Okay. That's all that's left of that one. Okay, I got this little guy in this little yellow bowl here. Kind of the same routine. Okay, we'll leave that one enough alone too. This one looked like it was starting to try a couple aerial roots. I don't really get aerial roots on these too much. All right, that'll do. Get rid of the weed. Okay. That's these three. Ready for the bench now. I've got a couple little ones here. I'm getting close to the end, but I think I may be down to double digits. No, down to single digits, I should say, on that. This is a little ficus that I've got growing in a very shallow bowl. I think I routinely almost lose this thing every summer because it's hard to keep it watered. It's in a place that the watering system gets to it pretty easily, but of course I did have a few times where I let the watering system. That's all I'm going to do with this. This one doesn't have a ton of growth on it, so I just cut off a few dead branches, and that's all we're going to do with that one. I think same thing with this one. This thing is a relatively new cutting, and it doesn't take up very much space, and it's I'm just going to leave it alone. This one, a couple dead branches. Just my little bathtub ficus here. Cut this one because it's crowding out there. It might be this one might be another one that I don't do a ton on. Give a little bit of trim out here to get the growing tips cut back, but yeah, this is another one I think it's not going to do very much with. It's not going to take up a lot of space on the bench, and again, there wasn't a lot to cut off. But this one here, well, this one's got a lot more to it. So all right, we might leave enough on that one. So these four are now going on the bench. Okay, another vigorous grower. think that's my structure there. This being the front, apex coming forward, alternating branches. Okay, that one's good. All right, this one's kind of wholly uninteresting. Long, straight, nothing happening up at the top. Fortune favors the bold. What I got to do is start over on that one. Yes, this would make a great cutting, but as you can see, I am up to my eyeballs in ficuses. I do not need any more ficuses. Ooh, what do we got here? A little spider webby egg casing or something like that. Okay. Good thing there wasn't a mama spider protecting that. Okay. This little guy is a little more interesting, a little more compact. You know what? Might be not a lot to do with this guy here. You know, he's got pretty good branching from low down. Got kind of like a twin trunk thing going on. It's not too overgrown. I might just give a little bit of tip pruning to get some ramification on some of this. Altogether, not too bad. I'm not. Maybe get this one out here. Yeah. Like that, maybe cut that off. Honestly, I think I'm gonna leave that alone. I think that's all I want to do on that one. All right, here's what we got so far. I've got this all in the south facing window, which you can see does still get sun this time of year. Of course, it's not all the way to the first day of winter yet, but it's a start. Okay, and then here's what we got on the bench so far. Ooh, okay, I've got some of my cactuses and succulents and a palm tree on this end. It's a little harder to water on this end, so I decided to put stuff that doesn't need as much watering on that end. Begonias, all the lemons. There is one acacia that ended up over here. Most of the acacias are in the south-facing window. Spider plant. There's the Schefflera. And next we have all of the ficuses. Some of my overgrown aloes. Believe it or not, these are tiny. These are relatively small pots underneath all of that. They have gotten so big. The knockout rose that I planted, I'm not going to let it get cold. A couple house cactuses that have come in here to live. While their spaces are being taken up by holiday decorations, Thanksgiving decorations, fall decorations right now, eventually Christmas decorations. They'll go back come January. They'll come back in the house. And here are some cuttings of that mini knockout rose that I have put in here and then used as a black bag for a little mini greenhouse. I used some rooting hormone, and hopefully by tenting it with this, it'll encourage it to take. But yeah, get a little back up there. You'll see I've got my barrel. It's on wheels and it's filled to the brim with a mixture of compost tea and rain barrel water. Got a fan here to kind of, so I can keep some air circulation going on that. On the other side of the weight bench, I've got, and this is the east-facing window, I've got all of my other Portulacara afras there, again with some artificial lighting. So, only thing I got left to do is bring in some of the larger tropical plants that really aren't bonsais, but they are, they do need to be brought in. And here's what we're going to be putting in. This is a lemon tree, and believe it or not, it is the same age as those smaller lemons. It just was put in a bigger pot and allowed to keep growing. This may eventually hopefully be turned into a lemon tree where we can actually get lemons, not a lemon bonsai. We gotta get Phil in. Gotta cut back all Phil's leaves so he doesn't take up so much space, but he grows them back every year. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut back and then put up the hibiscus. So that I'm going to spray with some neem oil before I put it in there, because this thing always has aphids and whiteflies, and I don't want those in with everything else. Okay, that's it for now. I'm going to hopefully finish this up today and be all prepared for the cold snap we're going to have in a couple days. In the meantime, you guys have a hopefully stay warm these next couple days. I know a lot of you have already, further north of me, have already gotten this cold snap, but stay warm, but also stay cool, and happy bonsai.